All right, folks, the question's been floated to me. How do the wealthy keep getting rich, and why are they getting ahead with all this inflation? And so I want to break that down today so we can talk about it. I get these questions from different people. I get them from online communities. I get them from just people pop things up. Sometimes once in a while they're in the comments. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments. But people are getting ahead with this inflation, the wealthy in particular, because they have assets, right? They have things that they're leveraging in one shape or a form. So they may own company shares, they may own houses, they may own things in general that are productive. These productive things have generally gone way up in value as we've gone through this turmoil, right? So what we're seeing is people who are earning wages are perhaps getting slight increases in those wages, maybe keeping up with inflation. Many people debate that. But the people that are rich already have an asset base in place, and they're using that asset base to keep making them wealthier and continue to have assets to spend, right? So if you have a portfolio of, let's say, dividend paying stocks, you've had a very good run post pandemic, right? Everything sort of came together, things popped up in price, and now those stocks are more valuable, those dividends are increasing, and so you're seeing more money coming in. You're actually getting prettier on that. And of course, the people who buy and sell companies, either directly, say the Elon Musks of the world who buy companies and sell companies and grow their value, or buy a company and then leverage the value of the company, which is what a part of what he did for the strategy for Twitter, right? Well, not only did he buy Twitter, but he leveraged the other stock he had, used that as part of a loan portfolio, bought into Twitter, reduced the expenses, made things go better, and now he has a bigger portfolio to lend against, right? The ultra rich do that. They don't even take a taxable event to necessarily liquidate their stock. They use the stuff they're already holding and they get loans against it and use that to buy more stuff. So having this asset base is critical, and that's why you see this divergence, right? You see the middle class is struggling. Many people in the middle class are not as well off as they were during this, where they were when they started the pandemic, right? They can't buy what they could buy. They can't have the mobility they used to have. They can't necessarily have all the nice things they used to have. Maybe they're waiting longer between buying cars, and they suddenly are, seeing their dollars aren't going as far to supermarkets, substituting foods, etc., or their savings rates going down. That's what's happening in the middle class and below. But the people who have wealth have watched that bubble increase. And that is a real question. Is it a bubble or is it underlying fundamentals, right? And there's a lot of debate on that. I would love to hear your comments on whether you think, this is an asset bubble or whether you think it's just the inflation going into the assets. My personal theory is that it's inflation, right? We've watched everything inflate. There's kind of this one round effect when inflation goes through for retailers in particular who have things in inventory. They can sell them to higher price. They have to rebuy them at the higher price, but they take a nice profit there as they do that. And so as that happens, things move along. And as inflation happens, more and more of these companies, if you're just taking a percentage, right? If you're that middleman, that retailer, that wholesaler that does a markup, suddenly your markup gets more impressive, right? It gets more big as the percentages increase, right? So you now, let's say you're marking up something 5-10%, even a 5-10% markup is now bigger because what you're marking up is bigger. So that inflation has gone through the whole system and everything just now has a higher price. I expect that to continue. But for the people that are holding stock or getting paid at the end of these transactions, the more money's moving, the bigger the numbers, the more they get. And so they're staying ahead of this game. Whereas the people are beholden to wages, they have to wait for those salary increases to come. They generally only come maybe once a year. So you're waiting. You're behind. Then maybe you might start to catch up and you start falling behind again. So for all of us, the lesson is to hold assets, right? To build assets and to think about savings and investment. If that's something you want me to go deeper on here on the channel, let me know. I'll do some more videos on it. But the inflation effect is really helping the wealthy. It is driving the differential between the wealthy and the poor here in the U.S., and I expect that phenomenon to continue. What do you think? Join me in the comments. Let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested, and I'll see you for another video soon.